Welcome back to Nielsen Guitars. It's been a couple of days since the incident with the waterborne lacquer. I made up this test block, which is looking really nice colour. Quite like that colour. Hopefully it's the same. I think it's the same as the guitar. So day one, sanded to 240 in condition, left overnight. I even made notes, you see. Hardcore. So it had the brown, which was the brown and red, the first one, sanded again to 240 to simulate me taking the stain off. Once, brown with red again and sanded with 600, and then two coats of brown, but the faded brown red type this time, and then left. So it's been, that was finished the day before yesterday, so it has had 2 days, so it is hopefully dry in the wood. But rather than brush it, I have had an idea. I was wandering around the house yesterday and I saw this old de-icer spray thing, and I was playing around with it. I thought, I just started idly washing it out. And then I thought, actually, this could come in useful. Maybe this is what I need. Maybe this is going to be the key. Sorry, a little bit of water flicked out of there. Let's get that out of there. Maybe this is going to be handy enough, because what I figure is I only really want to... Sorry, I should stop fiddling with that, shouldn't I? Is I only really want to get the first coat of spray on and avoid brushing that. If I can get complete coverage in some way that I don't touch it, maybe that'll work. So rather than brush this, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to see whether I can figure out how far back to spray it from. And you get sort of a puff of it, so I think you can kind of wisp, maybe do 2 or 3, maybe 4 spray attempts, sort of sweep across it and see what sort of coverage we get. I mean, this is waterborne, it's reasonably thin. I'm assuming it's going to go through there. We'll find out in a minute. I won't spray it onto it until I've found out by spraying it. This is my makeshift spray booth, which is still at my kitchen table, but I'm right next to the door. Going to have that open. I have a ventilator and a mask. And this is waterborne, so not quite the deadly stuff that other people use. So I'm going to give it a go and see whether it works, and if not, then I'll have to go back to the drawing board and remake another test board for brushing. But the idea would be that I maybe just use the spray for first coverage, and then all I'm really looking to do is build it up. And once it's not going to move, once the stain is not going to move, the theory is the stain is not going to move, so I can then start brushing it, and then I can start being a bit more, you can be aggressive with it. So that's what we're going to try. So I'm going to get set up. I've never sprayed this stuff. I don't even know whether this random de-icer spray thing will work, but I'm hoping it will do the job for the first couple of coats, and then I can start to focus on brushing it in the way it's supposed to be, the way I was originally intending to do it. So let's get kitted up, let's get the doors open. It's not a very nice day outside, so I don't really want to, it's been raining already, I don't really want to risk it raining while I'm trying to do this, so I am going to do it kind of in the doorway, and I'm hoping this stuff isn't going to go too far. So and I'm going to spray it, the plan is to put that probably there, and then spray this stuff. I don't know, maybe I'll hold it up. Maybe the mechanics need to be thought about a bit more, but hold it, and spray at it. Hopefully I can do it in such a way that I just spray at it, end up, perpendicular to the piece. We'll see. I'll put a little bit in the bottom of this. It's had water through it already, thoroughly cleaned out of de-icer. It doesn't smell of de-icer in any way. So I'll put a little bit of that in the bottom, enough to cover, and hopefully I can just pour it back out of there into the pot when I'm finished, and then just rinse it through with water because it's waterborne. So I'll get ready, and then we'll maybe ruin the test piece of wood. Alright, I don't know how well you're going to hear me with this, but it says it's getting some sound. I'm ready. I've just done a couple of test squirts of this, and it's splattering a bit, so I don't know if that's going to be a problem. Let's zoom in a bit on that. Can you see the splattering? As soon as it's coming out, it's splattering. I don't know what's a no-go. It's quite nice on the edge, but close up, I don't know. I wonder whether I should not do this, and this is a stupid idea. Now what happens if you get an even coat of splattering? I don't know. Should we give it a go? Yeah? Alright, let's do this. Let's do these things. Right, okay. Can you see it? No, you can't. There we go. Let's bring it out. Zoom in a bit. Okay, here goes nothing. Prepare for a new test piece of wood, I think. Yeah, that looks horrible. Let's put it flat. Let's put it flat. I'm going to put it flat and let's try it this way. Let's lift up that. There we go. You can watch this now. Yeah, it's definitely splattering. I think that's much too thick. Okay, I'm going to run and grab a paintbrush and then we'll try brushing it on. Right, I guess if I'm not spraying it, I can dispense with all this rigmarole, can't I? Oh, get rid of those. Right, let's try seeing whether we can spread this out. Maybe we can rescue this situation. Oh, good Lord, let's stick to that. Right, here we go. Can you see me? Can you see that? Let's get that block in focus. Apologies for the bouncy cam. Right, so we're just going to... So I'm trying not to overlap. So there's probably more on the surface of this than there would have been if I'd have... Oh, I've got some stain come off. Would I have had the streaks? Streaks probably wouldn't have been there. The guy said it was self-leveling. I don't really want to agitate it anymore. I'd rather just running it this way and trying to just rub it off the end. Here we go, very gently. Very gently, ooh. Try and get it on there, yeah, I'm definitely taking some of the stain off. Maybe it's... Oh, now I've gone too much. No. Okay, right, I think I'll just have to leave that. So, without the massive blobs, that doesn't seem to... Oh, sorry, you can't see, can you? I forget you're not really in the picture now. Right, let's zoom out a bit. There we go. What do you think? So apart from the blobs there, I mean, it hasn't swirled the stain like it did previously. I think we're going to have to go with paint because I can't... That monstrosity there is not going to work. So we tried the squirty thing. I mean, it was cheap. It's not a proper sprayer though, is it? Not a proper compressor and paint gun. But that's achieved coverage. Okay, there's lumps in it. But if you start, you know, if you've got something that locks the stain down and you haven't moved it all around, then I think we're probably good. So yeah, I guess that's the way to do it. Paintbrush. Actually, that was the paintbrush that I had by the sink from the other day. I've actually got a better quality one upstairs. There's a nicer, nicer hair. This is like plasticky bristle. So I think I'm going to use the other one, just because I think it'll be a nicer brush. But yeah, I suppose one approach is to spray the stain on and then smooth it out. Maybe we can take advantage of that because getting the coverage without having to touch the piece is quite good. So you can spray, then you just move it around with the paintbrush. Maybe that's a good approach, and maybe do that because that has covered. That's covered nicely. Okay, it's got ridges in it, but what's the wet sanding for at the end, right? The wet sanding's for that and filling it, but we need that first coat that locks it down, holds it in place, and then we can move it around. So yeah, let's go for that, and then we'll do it one side at a time. One side of the guitar at a time. The neck, yeah, I'm gonna have to just put it face down. And I think maybe spraying and then putting the paintbrush through it is maybe the way to do it. So yeah, let's do this. Worst case, I don't know whether I said this before, I'm going to start with the guitar body because the body is flat. I can start on a flat bit. If worst comes to worst, it is very easy for me to get a palm sander out and just blitz the whole thing, take it all away. Which I think is probably the best option. I might leave this to dry for half an hour and then I'll come back and maybe apply it with a paintbrush. What do I apply it with? No, we'll use the spray again. Spread it out again, see what we get. See what happens to this guy here, this white streak where I didn't smear it across the guitar enough at that point. But there's no massive paintbrush lines and things, so I'm hoping this is reflecting what's going to happen on the guitar, which is that I can get a couple of swipes, whereas before on that test block it was just lifting straight away. So I'm hoping where I conditioned the wood, I sort of removed a bit of the conditioner, added some stain, removed some more of the, that kind of thing, and it's looking more like this. So, okay. I think we pause for a bit, pause for half an hour. I'm gonna, have a double check of my methods and think about it. But I think we're onto something here. I think applying that first coat with a spray, getting it across the wood, and then I can level it out very lightly with a paintbrush. Trying to be as accurate as possible and not overlap too much. And then we'll see. So hopefully that's sort of, I think that was going to happen anyway, these kind of, so can you see those? Can you see the kind of furrows in the wood? Is that going to work for you? Sorry, you'll have my face in this as well while I try and work out whether you can see it. Yeah, I think you might be able to see it there. Hopefully you can. the kind of furrows there as the, which I'm assuming will either level out as it sits flat, or they will disappear when it's wet sanded and we put some more on top. So let's go with that. I'll catch you in a bit. Right, we're back. It's been half an hour, and yeah, what does it look like? It still seems a little, I don't know, it seems shiny on the top. Let's just get that there. Can you see that? So there's a bit here, up here, just opposite my, along the line from my finger. Can you see that there? Yeah. Let's get that in the light. Where it looks thicker, but I think that's okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to imagine I have done the, I've done the spray to get it on the surface. I have then brushed across it with a brush. I've got my slightly nicer brushes. They're not fantastic, but they are. This one's a bit nicer. I think this is the one I'm going to aim to use. Slightly nicer bristles. And I'm now going to brush across the surface of this one. If that looks all right and it doesn't pull too much lacquer off, then I will go for I'll bring the guitar body over here and I will attempt to do the back of it. So here goes. So I've just got some lacquer in the tub now. Just going to dip that brush in and then gently float across the surface, trying not to dribble too much. So we've not picked up anywhere near as much there. Yeah, and I think I'm able to, manipulate it a bit more without picking up the stain. I think the stain I've picked up, oh look, there's that's interesting. So, right, there we go. Okay, that's good to know. The bit that I think I picked up there was the piece that was wet still. So you can see, can you see? There's a little light spot there, right where that lump was. So I'm going to need to wait for the entire layer, the entire coat to be dry before I do that. Otherwise I'm going to pull it off and you can see I've just moved the stain. The stain is lifted with the lacquer. And I think that's the only bit I got on this brush. There was only a little tiny bit of stain on there. So again, good to know how to do it. But I've also not gone quite up to the edge on this one. So I've got to make sure I go right to the edge and cover it all. There we go, so we'll see how that one dries. I wonder whether to wait again on this one. But there, good to know. So we need that to be dry to the touch. I'm not sure it was. I imagine it wasn't because it lifted off with the brush. So it needs to be dry to the touch before we can do that. But that's a good learning experience. So yeah, and that's sort of flattened out now. There's still that gouge where the bit went wrong. But I think providing milky bits dry up, I guess it's all dependent on how much I leave on here as to how quickly it will dry. I mean, ideally I don't want it to take too long, but I'm not going to rush it. I'm happy to take a bit longer if necessary. Yeah, looks pretty good. So yeah, we'll see how that buffs out, but I don't know how many coats we're going to need in order to manage that. But there we go. So, do you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time to do something a bit destructive. So yeah, I will get prepped for this, and we'll be back in a sec. Right then, this is it. This is it. I have the spray. I have a guitar body. I have a brush ready. So I think this is it. I'm going to put some lacquer on this thing. And yeah, hopefully, I haven't put any protective gear on, so let me do that and also open the door. I forgot to say when I talked about it last time, within moments of me saying it could rain, the heavens opened, so I'm glad I wasn't outside. Anyway, respirator and stuff on, just in case. And yeah, wish me luck. Okay then, here we go. I apologise, guitar, if I'm about to ruin it. Smell that. I'm nervous now. That really does look terrible. Okay, let's get it over here. Okay, see what we do. Okay, I've got a little brush as well for doing this bit here. I'll put it around here as well. So here's a this is pulling quite a lot of the stain off. It's going to be very lightly over here. So I'll move this around. I think. Don't want to lose the battle here. Okay. The points where there's a stain, I can list a new brush. Try and move it along that stain. Are you seeing any of this? You are seeing it, okay. Right, what's happened? So, clear as much of the stain off these brushes as possible. So you can see, I'll show you this in a minute. I've lifted, some of the stain has come off. Let's get you on the film. Right, so, it doesn't look too bad. Can you see that? I can't see whether you can see that. It's there. So, let's take this off. Ooh. Ooh, I'm going to take all this off. Right. So yeah, there are points where the stain has moved. It looks a nice colour. I don't know how it will dry. Is it streaky? Can you see that? Does it look streaky to you? It's got a nice shine to it. So yeah, I'm in two minds about whether to do the front and the neck like this or whether to just do the painting. I think painting might be the way to do it, just one swipe. I don't think I've disgraced myself here. I think it's reasonable. I don't think I've got any massive runs. There's some lumpy bits, but I mean they'll all stand out. So yeah, I think hopefully that ain't too bad. Not perfect. It's definitely, you can see that. You've got that in view. It's lighter here. It's lighter here. So it has pulled stain up. Okay, so I think I will go for the neck with the brush rather than the spray. I think the spray is something we should just put away and forget about. It's too blotchy, and yeah, I think then having to move the stain around is too much. Move the lacquer around is too much, and you end up with these blotchy bits. Yeah, just looking and seeing whether I can work out what to do. Yeah, I think we're not in a terrible place now. But certainly not as good as a spray finish, but I haven't got spray equipment, so there we go. Yeah, okay, well let's bring in the neck and we'll see what we can do. I might do the headstock first just to get some practice with the paintbrush, a bit more practice. Yeah, so have a go at the headstock and see whether that moves around any water. So give me a moment and I will be back. Right then, you're here with me live as we go for the headstock. So some lacquer in a tub. I'm just going to try and get this down there. Well, yeah, my assumption is it won't move, but who knows? Who knows what we'll discover? We've discovered many things during this process. So hopefully I can get this across here and none of this paint will come off. We can just get a nice even coat and this won't be any sort of panic. So I've got to do a couple of coats of this and then go for the headstock decal. Right, so there we go, that's that done. Yeah, it's bunching up at the edges, but I guess I just have to not do anything, not touch it. There's nothing on there. The only thing I've got to be careful of when I do something like that is just hitting the edges of the stain. So, oh, you're not even in the picture there. Sorry about that. So you can see it's got a little bit of white to it, but hopefully that's going to go away. So there we go. That's the headstock started. We'll see how that clears up, and yeah, so I'm hoping to keep it nice and clear up here for the logo to go on, and then you go over it again and again and again with more lacquer. So yes, we shall wait on that. Yeah, so I'll put that to one side, or yeah, I realised I can't hang the neck up. I just have to put that to one side and just not touch it. Yeah, so I'll come back in a little bit and we'll have another look at the back of the guitar, see what a mess we've made. So catch you in a bit. Right, back again for another coat on the body. Yeah, it's touch dry. It's been about half an hour, so touch dry. Can't feel any spots where it's going to lift. There's a few of these places where, I don't know, it looks like there might be some lacquer on it. They're lighter patches. Yeah, I'm hoping there is. I'm going to just go very easy over those. So I'm not going to worry too much about hitting everything. Just hit stuff once. Hit what you hit once, I think, is the moral of the tale here. So I'm going to start by going around the corner here, just up by the control cavity, just to try and get a little bit more coverage on this. So yeah, let's just try and gently get some coverage up here. I'm going to try and go in a specific direction rather than sort of wobbling about, so I'll just keep moving down until it thickens out, and then I'll now go in with the big brush and try and just get coverage. So here goes. Hopefully from now on this side at least, it'll get easier. All the great big globs of lacquer, that's excellent, isn't it? So I just got to watch out for zones I'm hitting. So for those light spots, I just need to get across them once. Don't do too much. Just go easy, don't fidget across it. And you're learning here with me. So I think these light spots are spots that I already had lightened up. So I'm not sure. I bought 4 tubs of this waterborne lacquer. I'm not sure how many I'm going to need. I don't know whether I'm through the first one. I've got some in that sprayer over there, the sprayer of doom. It's only felt easier to do a true oil finish, I'll say that. I don't want that much. I need the smaller brush anyway, sorry for that bit. So it looks like I have picked up a bit of, that brush was clean, so I have picked up a little bit of stain somewhere along the line. But anyway, let's just try and get in here, get around these screws without too much trouble. Okay, we'll see what happens there. Over the sides of the body. So yeah, I think this body part gets easier now as I get through the layers. Just being sure not to fidget in too long in one area. I'm going to try and get as much of that out of there as possible. I don't want too much lacquer hanging around, especially not on the screw holes. What I'll probably do at some point is just move, turn the screws, just to move it along. Yeah, there we go. So we'll have that settled. We'll see what we end up with, and just keep layering it on. So it looks pretty messy at the moment. We'll see how that dries up. Make sure nothing's dripping. Let's just give it there's a drip down the side there. Let's get hold of that and try and stop that. Lift that up onto the paintbrush. I don't want to deal with that yet. Just get some of these bubbly bits, try and smooth them out as much as I can. Yeah, well, you couldn't see that there was a drip coming down there, so that's all good. Yeah, there's nothing terrible, well, nothing I can see that looks too terrible, so I'll get this hung up again. Yeah, the neck, I won't do the back of the neck for the moment, because I forgot that I hadn't cleaned the inlay dots. The side dots. So I did that, and there was a slight point where I just smudged it a little bit on the neck itself, so I lightened it up. So I had to just go over the stain again and just blend it all back in. So I'm not going to touch that right now. I think it's too risky to go over a wet, a just applied stain. I think that's a silly idea. So I think I'll do another coat on the headstock, but I'm not going to go near the actual back of the neck, the wood of the neck itself, until later, maybe just not at all, until for a few days. So yeah, let's get this hung up, and I'll give those screws a twist or something. I think they could definitely do with something to stop them from seizing up. I can get in there, and because I don't want it falling off the neck. That much making worse. That might be fine. I might just be able to break it with a knife. Right, okay, so coat 2 done. Yeah, let's see where we end up. Catch you in a bit. Okay, we're back for second coat of the headstock. I'm going to use some different lacquer because that's got a bit of colour in it, so just avoid using the stuff that's just running off. We're fine for use on the guitar, I think, but on the stained wood. But I think for the headstock we need to keep a separate batch now. So I'm not going to use that brush either. I'm just going to use another brush. Right, so second coat of headstock. It's touch dry. I've cleaned off all the gunk, so let's go. Again, yeah, I'll feel much happier when this is when all the parts of the guitar are covered in lacquer. I'm not worrying about dragging stain around, or whether I've touched an area or something. This is not a fun game. So I think, yeah, if I'm going to do this seriously, then I should I'm going to need to find a different way to apply this. Whether aerosols or whether we're doing it with aerosols or whether with which pot am I in? I'm in that pot. Or whether doing it with spray equipment. I'm not going to be. Yeah, I'm not really enjoying this. I'll admit, this is a bit nerve-wracking. So the point where I'll show you on the neck, I mentioned that I wasn't going to do the neck. Just looking at that then. There was a point just about here where I managed to ding the. I did dribble down when I was just putting a little water on the dot, and so I just had to kind of smooth that in. So hopefully you can't really see it. It looks a little lighter there, but there are spots where it's lighter, so I don't think it's too bad. So second coat on the headstock, we'll wait. And then just keep alternating, I think, and eventually get to hopefully a point where we can start to do, just start slathering the lacquer on and not worrying too much. A bit terrifying at the moment. I don't like this. So we will return.